First and foremost, I want to thank everyone for being here tonight. On behalf of my mother, John, Roro, my closest family members, I can't stress enough how much the support we have received has helped us through these few days. Because I know that I have absolutely no chance getting through this eulogy being completely serious, I can only do this in a way where I know Dan himself would want me to, and that's by using the art of sarcasm and funny stories he ever so greatly appreciated. As a child growing up, Dan was known as a very quiet, shy kid. Every time we were on a playground or at a park, it was up to me to ask the other kids to play with us. I'm sure that there are a few of his teachers at John Street who didn't get many chances to hear his voice. Once he got the carry, though, he seemed to have no problem speaking, let alone yelling, throughout the hallways. When I think of the high school version of Dan, I think of a kid wearing a slutty nun costume on Halloween, with his tongue hanging out, looking like a total jackass. Dan was always someone who enjoyed working much more than school, and was balancing jobs at young ages that some adults wouldn't be able to handle now. He put a lot of pressure on himself because he knew when it came to family holidays, he'd buy the most expensive gifts for everyone in the family, but would get angry if you bought him something too flashy. He was absolutely awful at asking for gifts as well. The two of the all-time worst presents I've ever seen him ask for and eventually receive were a leaf blower and a case of brisk iced tea. He maybe used a leaf blower a grand total of 2 times, and I just find brisk iced tea to be repulsive and gross. Me and my brother's first love was sports. I can honestly say the reason I was even half good at baseball was because of how hard he threw ground balls at me in our backyard growing up. The one talent that everyone will remember Dan for in his athletic career is simple, his speed. But not only his speed, but how strange he looked running so fast. Crazy legs. That weird karate chop thing he used in his hands. It didn't look natural, but it got the job done. Some of the most amazing plays that I have ever seen made in my life were by him. And it's a shame SportsCenter doesn't cover our Sunday softball league, because I'm sure he would have had a few top 10 plays over the years. Although I was the first one to try out football, it wasn't long before he was playing and excelling at it. He played safety the way he lived life, at full speed, without a regard for his body. Due to so many successful plays that he had in his career, I'll have to point out 2 of my favorite blunders. He was selected as game captain for a game his senior year against Great Neck South. The Seahawks brought the A game that day and would have had a shutout of 40-0, but of course there was only one man who was able to comedically ruin the shutout. Dan mishandled a kickoff, and instead of trying to fall on it, attempted to pitch it to somebody behind him as if it was a game of tackle football next to the John Street playground. The final score was 40-2 due to the safety that occurred in that play. The other blooper that I remember was also in another game his senior year. I can't remember who the opponent was, but I know it was another Seahawks dominating performance. Near the end of the game, this time Dan was able to cleanly field the kickoff and found daylight. There was no one that was going to catch him as he got to around midfield, when then he found a way to just drop the ball. No one touched him. I don't think anyone was within 5 yards of him. The ball just squeaked out of his hand. In response to the play, when I asked him, Dan, what happened? I had the under. Would have went over if I scored. My brother was an avid fan of practical jokes, pranks, and absolutely scaring the shit out of people whenever he had the chance. I never told him this, but there were times when I would come home and I would be absolutely terrified he was hiding in my closet or behind the shower curtain just to make me scream like a 12-year-old girl. No offense, Lauren, whoever she is. You never wanted to fall asleep at a sleepover before Dan got home from work, because you would usually wake up with shaving cream all over your face or an absurd amount of Vaseline in between your toes. Strange, yes, but his sense of humor is what so many loved and appreciated him for. The one thing that Dan enjoyed more than anything in this world was family gatherings, especially vacations. As kids, whether it was at the Hunter Mountain House or at the Hershey Park camping grounds, manhunt was the one thing we all looked forward to. Actually, look forward to doesn't quite do justice to how serious we took manhunt on vacation. Danny Boy led the way, as I distinctly remember him packing all black Under Armour, black leggings to match, and my personal favorite, eye black. This kid would actually put on eye black for an intense game of tag. Even if we weren't in the mood to play, my cousin Rob knew exactly how to fuel fire and get us in the mood. Here's a typical conversation that occurred. Here's Rob. Guys, we're playing manhunt. Everyone's playing. Me. Well, who's playing? Rob. Well, Dan's playing. Mike. Dan, are you playing manhunt? Dan. No one asked if I wanted to play at all. Why is he saying I'm playing? I guess we will play though. Of course, none of us were fast enough to catch Danny legs, so every time we tagged him, it was the highlight of the trip. There was one time where he actually fell down pretty hard as I was chasing him, and rather than asking him if he needed help, my first initial reaction was, I'm just going to tag you just in case you're faking it. He wasn't very happy with that, but I was just following his lead by taking the game as serious as I could. The last vacation that the 4 guy cousins took, which is myself, Adam, Rob, and Dan, was a trip to Ohio to see Rob, where he is stationed in the Air Force. That trip featured more than enough laughs and a bit too much karaoke from our side, for the sake of the state. The one thing that stuck out to Rob was how so many of his friends down there were so amazed by how cool his cousins were. I actually remember one kid asking me if he could join our family because of how much fun we were having. For a kid that worked so much and always kept so busy, the fact that he was able to get a few days off to take that trip with us is something I know that will be legendary in his memory. I asked my family if there was anything that they wanted me to say today while I was up here on their behalf. There are countless stories that we will reminisce about as time goes on, but these are some of the favorites. I'll read some excerpts of these memories in their words, as they have written them from their point of view. The first story comes from Adam. Where is Adam? Adam, get up front so they know who you are. So this is Adam speaking, just so you guys know. For those who don't know, I was actually a late addition to the family. The best story of mine is the first time I met Mikey and Dan. So here I am in the back seat on my way to meet my, at the time, potential future family. I wasn't sure what to expect. We pull into the driveway of the old house, still pre-renovation. I see this kid that looks to be my age standing right next to the car. I open the car door, and there's little Michael grinning from ear to ear with his hand extended ready for a handshake. Hi, I'm Mikey. He said it with so much energy that took me by surprise. Wow, I thought. I can't believe how friendly these people are. This is going to be great. After we exchange introductions and quick pleasantries, I take a step inside. There is Mr. Dan Babich laying on the couch, hand in his pants, watching SportsCenter. I walk right up to him, extend my hand, and say, Hi, I'm Adam. It's great to meet you. Try my best to match the enthusiasm Michael showed a few minutes prior. Dan didn't so much as twitch. Didn't even look up from the television. So, he mentioned under his breath. I immediately thought this had to be a friend of someone's. There's no way these two kids are related. Dan was his own person. He was a leader, never a follower. I grew to admire that about him. When we talked, I always valued his opinion because I knew it was coming from a genuine place. He truly had a heart of gold, looking out for everyone else before himself. The memories I have of us will last me a lifetime, and I'll always be grateful for the time that we shared. Hands down, some of the happiest times of my life are when you, me, Mike, and Rob were together. It's rare that such a special bond between multiple people happens. When the 4 of us were together, the laughs were inevitable. We could just be sitting in a quiet room and entertain ourselves with stories and general horsing around. The chemistry we shared is impossible to measure. Forever in my heart, I love you, brother. The next piece comes from my cousin Rob. If you let Rob get in front. Dan, one of the first memories I have of us all together was you, Mike, Kristen, and myself when we were holding hands, standing in the shallow water of the beach, just looking into the deep ocean. I believe there's that picture somewhere in here, so if you all get a chance to see it. It's a really beautiful picture. We have come a long way from then, from skiing every winter vacation to every summer camping trip, Vegas, or the Hunter House. Spending time with you was a gift from God, and I am so grateful to have grown up with someone who is so family-oriented. I just remember and always will remember the times the 4 of us shared. We could be doing absolutely nothing, but as long as we were in the same room together, the laughing and smiles never ended. You were a brother of mine, and as hard as it is to say goodbye, I know you'll always be here in spirit and in my heart. The bond that Mike, Adam, and myself had is unbreakable, and I know that you will always be watching over us. You will forever be in my heart. I love you, brother. My cousin Kristen also wanted to share something. Even though we are cousins, I always thought of you as a brother to me. I knew I always had you, Mikey, and my brother as my protectors in life. Ever since I was little, I looked up to you, and you were definitely my role model. I didn't want to play with dolls, try on dresses, or put makeup on. All I wanted to do was get dirty and play sports with my favorite people. The only reason why the number 21 was on my back was because of you. I'm so grateful to have you in my life these past 19 years. You'll always be my cousin, but forever my brother. This next piece is for Monica. I'm not sure who Monica is. Monica. Dan. Life can be confusing and sometimes downright crazy, but you always knew how to put a smile on everyone's face. I remember sitting at your table out back, telling you about my weekends, and you always managed to somehow one-up me. You simply lived life to the fullest, Dan. I'll never forget the intense love you had for your family, especially your cousins getting us to pee our pants, playing apples to apples, or a simple conversation with you had me cracking up with your sarcasm and honesty. We had a lot more great memories to make, but I know you're up in heaven awaiting our arrival with open arms. I'm looking forward to that big bear hug, Dan. Please continue to light up our lives as our guardian angel. I love you so much, and that can never change. Thank you, Monica. Dan's godparents, my Aunt Randy and Uncle Tommy, also wanted to share something. Daniel, this is from Aunt Randy. You were my first nephew and very special godson. I hold in my heart so many very special memories. The sleepovers, the vacations, the sports, the jokes we had. So many memories. Watching you grow from a baby to a kid, to a teenager, and to such handsome young man was one of the greatest joys of my life. When I had Lauren and Kayla, you took to being the oldest cousin very seriously. You promised to always watch after them, and you always told them to never let anyone treat them bad. If they did, they should call you, and you would be ready to take care of the situation. Although you can't watch after them now, you can watch over them, and I know that you will. The last year and a half, you promised if I ever got famous. If you guys don't know my Aunt Randy, she's an actress. If you follow her on Facebook, I'm sure you do know that.
I got money invested in you.
If I ever got famous, you would be one of my security team, as long as I introduced you to the hot actresses. When I win an award, it will be because you have inspired me. You will always be Daniel's son, and I will miss you every day for the rest of my life. I love you very much, Aunt Randy. Uncle Tommy, my godson, we have so many memories that we will never forget. Your Aunt Susan's favorite story is being 6 months pregnant with Kristen, riding on a sled with you, Michael, and Robert. You took her for the ride of her life, accidentally knocking and launching an innocent 3-year-old into midair, and then catching him. For me, it was all your baseball and football games as a kid, our family vacations and camping trips. Your Cary High School football years, he wanted to make clear that he was always a Cary crazy for his nephews. Our Sunday softball, and of course the text messages on 2 Sundays a year when the Eagles played the Cowboys. Rest in peace, nephew, Uncle Tommy. Finally, this is from my grandmother. Everyone knows her as Rora. The first time I held you, I knew you were special. As you grew, you raised the bar as to what a grandchild should be for the 5 that followed. They all will continue to strive to reach it. The time we have spent together this year will forever be etched in my heart. Who had it better than me? I not only lived with you, I worked with you, and I coached you. And I will always love you. Obviously, there are so many stories, thoughts, and laughs about my brother that could be shared. We will have the rest of our lives to share what this young man has done for all of us. One of the first thoughts that went through myself and my mother's heads in this difficult time was how we are going to turn this tragedy into a positive. Her only request is to be kind and give love. With the help of my best friend Nick Ferrara, my family, Dan's closest friends, and Dennis Peterson, we were able to come up with something that I, for one, think can be at the very least an unbelievable tribute, and even more so, something we all can live by from now on. And I'll present to you now Dan's plan. Direct your attitude to notice the problem and seek help. Pass on what you learned. Lead others to ask questions to promote new beginnings. This is the message that we want to be sent on his behalf. We want to continue to spread all the good that was in his heart by creating a fund in his name, which already has been created. The proceeds will be helpful to numerous people in a variety of ways. In his honor, we vow to spread awareness for many charitable causes such as suicide prevention, the disease of addiction, and to honor him with a plaque in his memory to be featured at his alma mater, Cary High School. The first portion of the proceeds will go to the rehab center that gave Dan so much happiness in the last 2 years of life. We will also plan to set up a scholarship through Cary at some point in the future. If Dan's plan can inspire even one person to help someone in need, or for someone to seek help for themselves, then spreading the Danny Babich story has given his life purpose, and our mission of turning this negative situation into a positive message a success. Of course, if there was something that we could do to bring my brother back, it would have already been done. We feel this is the only appropriate way to spread all the good that is in my brother's heart. Absolutely any type of hurt is not permanent, whether it regards depression, addiction, or even grieving. All of the details regarding Dan's plans will be a continued process, but I ask all of you who are looking to donate any time or money to myself and my family, please donate to this cause. We will stick together through these hard times, and we know it will not be easy. But again, the outpouring of support by all of your beautiful souls is something that I can never thank all of you enough. I now will leave you with one of Dan's closest friends, Chris Vella, to speak on behalf of the Franklin Square community as a whole. Thank you very much.